think you can go ahead, Judy.
Oh, okay. Hello, and welcome to Unity of Fredericksburg. My name is Judy, and I am pleased to welcome all of you to the Unity of Fredericksburg weekly online gathering. At Unity of Fredericksburg, we are advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. We thank those of you watching on YouTube, live or later, and invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are able to attend live, we encourage you to join us in the Zoom community room for the full Sunday morning experience, including music, prayer, and connection. Our weekly newsletter includes the Sunday service link, and you can subscribe to receive that on our website at uofva.org. That's uofva.org. For everyone local to Central Virginia, Unity of Fredericksburg offers a variety of fun and enriching in-person gatherings every month. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter at UofVA for all the details. Our message and meditation today comes from Reverend Kelly Isola. As an ordained Unity minister, Kelly is a master at creating transformative retreats, rituals, ceremonies, and alternative services using music, storytelling, laughter, tears, and meditation as catalysts for spiritual transformation. She also facilitates board trainings and leadership development workshops and retreats. Kelly is sought after as a captivating, funny, inspiring, and charismatic speaker and teacher. Kelly partners with faith communities and nonprofit organizations to move through times of change efficiently, effectively, and with sustainable results. We are delighted to have Kelly as our speaker today. And now, here is Reverend Kelly.
It's always fun to hear your own bio. If you're ever feeling down, get someone to read your bio to you because then it lifts you up. And I always, I've said this before a gajillion times, everyone should write their own bio. Everyone should write a bio. And if somebody wants to, I'm happy to help you. Because what it does is it's a little bit like shadow work, right? We kind of have to self-reflect, and out of it comes laughter, out of it comes tears, out of it comes surprises, um, all kinds of things. So that's a squirrel moment, which it won't be the first one, in the morning or whatever time you're watching this, but it won't be the first one in our time together. When our tears feed the world. Anybody read that and go, I'm going to guess while I can't see everybody, I'm going to guess there might be a couple of raised hands or a couple of people that go, yeah, I wonder what that's all about. What it's about is that I'm always looking for ways to bring spiritual principle into practical application and not the same old usual. I don't want to sound like I swallowed a revealing word or a Charles Fillmore book or a Myrtle Fillmore book. I want contemporary, what's happening today? What does this mean today? What's going, like how do I use the natural world even? So that's what today is, that's where that came from. I'm watching one of these obscure nature shows. I don't even think it was a National Geographic show, but it was one of these obscure nature shows, which is a go-to for me in terms of when I am feeling, stressed or, looking for something to kind of lift me, to be a little hopeful. There's nobody around to read my bio to me. I'll go find a nature show, right? And sometimes it's National Geographic, but there's so many out there. So I was watching one, and what I want you to do, I'm going to tell you this kind of the story of what I was watching on TV. But while I'm doing that, I want you can have your eyes open, you can have them closed, but just imagine, so we're in the Amazon rainforest, okay? But imagine tons of butterflies, just, a bunch of gadabouts, right? And the wings are going and they're kind of shimmering, and because there's water in the air and sunlight coming through, and just imagine that whole picture that of these butterflies um, just moving around, and hold that image for a moment, because it's really quite, for me, it's a quite beautiful picture. I really love the word shimmer, right? The way the water and light bounce off the wings, right? And the wings are moving, and so the shimmer moves as well. Now, here's what happens, and is that these butterflies, they fly to the turtles that are, in the water, wherever they are. That could be on, if it's a pond or something, or just right in the middle of the water. The butterflies fly down, land on the turtles' faces, and drink the tears of the turtle. Yes, they drink the tears of the turtle. So the butterflies flutter down, they land, it's not an attack, they're not attacking the turtles. I don't know if a butterfly even knows how to attack, except if it's some nectar. But they flutter down and they land gently on the faces of the turtles, and with their tiny little minuscule tongues, they sip the tears of the turtle. And again, it's not, they're not attacking, they're not doing anything strange. They do it because they need the salt to survive. In the rainforest, salt is rare. It's very hard to find. And the only place that the butterflies can find it is in the tears of another being. And here's the beautiful part: the turtles don't resist. The turtles just sit still, and they allow the butterflies to come down and drink their tears. And the turtles may blink, or they continue to breathe, but they don't interrupt what the butterflies are doing. So just imagine seeing that, because that's when sorrow becomes sustenance, that's what it looks like. It overflows, the sustenance overflows from one life and becomes nourishment for someone else. The sorrow comes up, right? The tears of the turtle, and it overflows to nourish another. And as I was watching this, I couldn't help but go, all right, well, if I'm honest, I think, isn't that what we're all doing? If we're honest about it, aren't we all in some way or another, if we pause long enough, we're trying to live in this holy exchange, that, so the turtle is crying, the butterflies are fed and nourished, get their salt, the turtles are releasing, and it's this exchange. It's a very holy exchange, being healed by one another's tears, right? We're healed by one another's tears. I don't know that we think about that or realize that. So the one thing I want you to remember, if you remember nothing else, is know this: my tears are generosity in motion. My tears are generosity in motion. So what does that mean? When I first heard, in the show, the phenomenon, and then they used the term lacrophagy, and I thought, there's actually a technical term for this, which lacrophagy translates as tear feeding. And I'm like, well, that makes sense. But I'd never heard the term. And I'm a word nerd, so I was really like, how did this word get by me? But I was amazed. I just, I kind of, thank God I could pause, and just sort of look at the screen and watch, because it really was a living parable, right? The tears are made up of water and salt, like ours. So they're the very essence of earth and sea. So it's a very, you know, down to earth, grounded. It's not some, pink cloud, etheric, ontological. It's a very down to earth practice. It's a very down to earth idea. It's a very down to earth spiritual truth. Um, so our tears emerge when something inside us can't be contained, right? And whether the tears are of joy or deep sorrow, right? When you just you can feel them coming, right? And then of course, if we're good American culture, we cut them off at the neck, right? But I'll come back to that one. But they are the body's way of telling the truth of what's going on. It's how the soul hydrates the heart, right? So the tears are of earth and sea, and they come when something inside us just can't be contained, nor should we try to contain it. So what if our tears, the ones that we hide, the ones we apologize for, I'm going to do another squirrel moment here. How many of you have found yourself, you're either in a group or one-on-one, and you can feel the emotion. You can feel the intensity building. You can feel your eyes getting misty, with water, and you cut yourself off and you say, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I know everybody sitting here has done that at least once. And we've heard people, "Oh, sorry." Sorry for what? Sorry. Nah. No, no. There's no sorry. There's no sorry. They're not signs of weakness or a failure. What if instead those tears that we try to hide, the ones we apologize for, the ones we swallow, the ones we're not willing to share, what if they're offerings? What if our tears are food for the soul of someone else? The nourishment, the sustenance, right? Like the turtle's tears are the nourishment for the butterfly. What if our tears are food for another? And what if they're food for the soul of the world? Our tears are generosity in motion. Say it to yourself. My tears are generosity in motion. And I think why it's so important to know this, especially now in the times that we're living in, that every day I find something that I get, like, just when I think it couldn't, this will sound horrible. And yes, there's still a reverend in front of my name. Just when I think people can't get more out to lunch, more cruel, more unfeeling, uncaring, just when I thought dehumanizing and demeaning people couldn't become a bigger art form or have others perfect it, I find that it is going on. And so there's tears, right? We live in a culture, like I said, that hides sorrow. We'll say, "No, I'm fine. I'm good." When we're anything but fine, right? We want to rush in to fix the pain, to patch it over, to smooth it over. Stop. That's my spiritual practice. Stop. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to patch. It's take the word fine out of your vocabulary, please. And stop hiding our sorrow. Tears remind us that we're porous, right? That we're connected. We're alive. We belong to each other. Tears dissolve whatever hardness is around our heart, whatever hardness, whatever shell we've kind of built around us because we think that'll keep us safe. But it doesn't. It just puts a wall around you and makes for a lonely space and behind the wall. Tears reconnect us to each other, right? Tears are the nourishment for another. Think of the turtle and the butterfly. How many times have you been with a group of people, right? A retreat, or I know there's some of you going to ARE tomorrow. You've been in a retreat or maybe a class or something, and there's someone starts to cry, right? Someone allows the tears to come. Think about it for a minute. And how many times then did you hear other people exhale? And then they start to cry, like they've been given permission to stop pretending, and they've been given permission to finally feel, right? And so when we let our tears flow, we make space for someone else's healing to begin, right? The turtle allows the tears to flow, Not that it's consciously going to think, oh no, sorry, I can't cry today. But the tears flow, that release, and then the butterfly is fed. So the tears make space for somebody else's healing to begin. Right? That's how compassion multiplies. It's not just one, it's all of us. Our tears are generosity in motion. Our tears. So how do we live it? How do you be the turtle? Well, for starters, be willing to let yourself feel. Please stop apologizing when tears come up. Just allow them to be. Let your grief, your exhaustion, your longing have their way with you for a while. It's okay. There's no such thing as perfection. Know that your tears are nourishment for someone else. Always. Always. If you find yourself in prayer, maybe you're someone who likes to journal or just sit quietly. Maybe you have, looking out, you like to sit in nature, maybe your own backyard, or you go to a park or something, and you just kind of sit and watch. In those moments, when you find the tears coming, whisper to yourself that even my tears are holy. My tears are holy, because they are. They are. They soften what's been hardened. They open us to new life. They are offering nourishment to somebody you don't even know, especially if you're in public. Like if you're sitting in a park or something like that and the tears come, if somebody else sees them, you're nourishing them. You don't have to know how or why or when. So that's how you be the turtle. So how do you be the butterfly? Sometimes the call is not to weep, but to witness. Sometimes to draw near to someone else's sorrow, not to fix it, not to give them a tissue to interrupt something, but to honor it. The butterflies don't demand that the turtle stop crying. I don't think the butterflies know how to say that, but they simply receive what's being offered because they know that therein lies their nourishment, therein lies their life, therein lies their, for us, therein lies compassion. So just receive what's being offered, receive the tears that are being offered, be the butterfly and receive that. That's compassion. You're not going to catch their suffering. You're going to be with them in it. So when someone around you is in pain, resist the urge to offer advice, resist the urge to say anything. Certainly not a silver lining. Certainly don't metaphysical it. You're just seeing it. And you can drink it in for your own healing. And you just stay there until they can breathe again. That's being butterfly. It's feeding on truth, right? Not illusion. It's feeding on truth. It's being with the reality of right now. So some days we're the turtle, some days we're the butterfly, and sometimes we're both. That's what spiritual community is. Spiritual community is that sacred exchange, giving and receiving grace. The tears are not for nothing. The tears are the living waters that keep compassion flowing through the world. Right? The tears are release. The turtle's release. For us, it's a release. It could be of truth, release of pain, release of sadness, release of pick something. The butterfly is receiving it. There's nourishment. There's nourishment in another person's tears, in another person's grief for me. I know it may sound a little odd, and that's what compassion is. Compassion's not a feeling, compassion's an action. Compassion is how we be. So our tears, like, it's not even really a metaphor. Our tear, when our tears feed the world, they really do. They really do. My tears are generosity in motion, right? They're the living waters that keep compassion flowing through the world. Because you don't know, it's interesting that I think most of us know that, the butterfly effect. A butterfly flaps its wings, and on the other side of the world, something else. But there is a butterfly effect that's very different. So when I say our tears feed the world, I'm not kidding, because we have no idea where our tears are going to go. We don't. But I do know that they offer nourishment for another in many different ways. My tears are generosity in motion. Let's take that into meditation. Take a deep breath. And another one. You can have your eyes open. You can have your eyes closed. Just let your shoulders drop. Have your body be in a comfortable way for you. Soften your jaw. Maybe put your hand on your heart space to feel it loosening up a little bit. And breathe. Just follow your breath. Hmm. Bring to mind a time when tears came easily. Maybe it was yesterday, last week, a year ago. Just bring to mind a time when tears really came easily, not the kind that you fought back, but the kind of tears that rose from deep within and that said, I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Breathe into that memory. Feel the memory in your body. Maybe there's tears even now that are coming. Maybe there's an ache in your throat as you can feel emotion arising, that river that wants to move through you. Every tear that has fallen from your eyes is proof of your connection to the world. Every tear that has fallen from your eyes is proof of your connection to the world, because you are the turtle and you are the butterfly. It's proof that you care enough to feel, that you care enough to feed the world with your tears of nourishment. Tears are not weakness, they're release. Tears are the flow of life, giving itself away again and again and again. Every tear drop expands in a ripple, feeding hearts you'll never meet, probably watering dry soil of someone's hope, bringing some light for someone's joy. Whisper softly to yourself, My tears are generosity in motion. Say it again. My tears are generosity in motion. In this holy circulation between the butterfly and the turtle, between you and the world, nothing is wasted, ever. The grief becomes grace, the loss becomes connection. The tears are the river that carries us all back to each other, to life, to love. So take another deep breath. And with every exhale, remember that your breath joins the wind, that your tears join with the sea and with earth. And your tears are opening your heart for others that are still learning to stay open. You are the turtle and the butterfly, releasing tears and giving sustenance and nourishment to another. Take a couple more deep breaths, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And just remember, my tears are generosity in motion. And so it is. And so we go forth and be it. Amen.
Thanks for watching the weekly broadcast from Unity of Fredericksburg. Visit our website, uofva.org, to learn more about our mission of spiritual awakening and transformation, and support our ministry with your financial donation. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.